أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
صلى الله عليك وعلى آلك وسلم.
اللهم صل صلاة كاملة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد خاتم النبيين وإمام المرسلين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وأنعم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. علم الكلام, discursive theology, or the science of Aqīdah. قال أبو القاسم said, أقل ما في الكلام سقوط هيبة الرب من القلب، والقلب إذا عري من الهيبة لله عري من الإيمان. That the least thing about discursive theology, the least effect that you can get from it, is this awe of God would be stripped away from your heart. And if the heart is stripped from the awe of God, it will be stripped from faith and belief. This is one of the biggest problems we have as a Muslim community. The general talk about Aqīdah, the general talk about what do you say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the general talk that basically separates what is known, and for those that are familiar with this, the issue of Salafi versus Ash'ari, and it really all goes down to discursive theology and certain interpretations of certain verses that relate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Al Junayd here, what he's telling us is something that we really all need to keep in mind regarding Aqīdah talk. He says that the least effect that you can get from it, let's say that you don't really have any other problems, but he said that the least effect, given that you are speaking about the divine, you're speaking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the least thing that you will get from it is that this awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this reverence for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will go away from you because you're speaking about Allah. Imam Malik rahimahullah, when a man came to him and he asked him, you know, the merciful, Ar-Rahmanu ala al-Arsh istawa, that the merciful, and if you translate that exactly to English, it doesn't give the meaning, but you know, Ar-Rahmanu ala al-Arsh istawa, what do you say about that? And it's a verse about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala having taken over his dominion, and the way it sounds, it can give you kind of a wrong impression. Imam Malik, when he was asked about this, it said that he took his head down like this and he paused for a while, his face got red and he started sweating, and then he raised his head up and he said, Al-istiwa'u ma'loom wal-kayfu majhul, that istiwa is known. Look in the dictionaries if you want. I mean, we know what istiwa is, and the howness of it, we don't know what that means. And the asking about it is an innovation, and I don't see you, other than being an innovator, take him away from my majlis. And in another narration of the same story, it said that Imam Malik raised his head up and he said, the tafsir of this verse is the recitation of it. You just read it as is, you don't ask questions about it. And then he said to kick him out of his gathering. This is a really big problem. you really have to understand what it means. I mean, Sheikh Abdul Hakim Murad said that theology is about finding, it's one of his contentions. He said something to the extent of theology is finding the least silly way to speak about the divine, the infinite. The least silly way. What is he saying by that? He's saying it's a silly practice. You're trying to use your limited intellect and your limited use of language to speak about the unlimited. You're automatically at a grave disadvantage. So you're better off not getting into it, because the second you start speaking about something, that's when your trepidation, your fear, your awe of it can kind of, you're not as familiar with it, so you stop having this awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's a warning from Imam Al Junayd. And at the end of the day, you really have to ask yourself a simple question. As a Muslim, we say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, we believe in whatever the Quran has said, we believe whatever the Prophet ﷺ has said, we submit, we're Muslims. Anything beyond that is just people talking. And the way that they've called it, the scholars, ilm al-kalam, kalam, meaning it's just talk, people say words. Where is your action? How am I going to translate that? I've gotten into enough discussions with people about issues of theology and Aqīdah, Muslims, and just asking questions about what the differences are between this and that. At the end of the day, I just at the end of the conversation, we just say, okay, so now that you know all of these things and we've talked about all of this different Aqīdah, this Aqīdah, that, do you feel closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do you feel like you can take that information and translate it into action? You can't. So that knowledge now was just a waste of time at the end of the day, because you can't do anything with it. And in fact, as Imam Al Junayd is saying, you've actually now, your hayba, your awe, your fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gone down, because you've turned Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala into just something to talk about. So this is something we really have to keep in mind. If we're speaking with non-Muslims and we're just trying to explain certain things, that's a different story, but it's something to really keep in mind. The fear, the awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs to remain in the heart, and the way you do it is by not getting and engaging in kalam, in just talk, just to use your unlimited words to speak about the unlimited. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
حاشا لجودك أن تقنط عاصيا، حاشا لجودك أن تقنط عاصيا، الفضل أجزل والمواهب أوسع.